some technical difficulties galore. Technical difficulties galore this today with the eclipse and the energies hitting everything. Wow, man. Oh, well. That's the way it goes. Life doesn't work out perfectly, I suppose. Okay. We're going to hear from the Lil Blue Guru, of course. Y'all know him by now. Yes, indeed. A lot of crazy things going on with the eclipse and the Schumann resonance and all that good stuff. Yeah, it's all the rage, of course. Alright, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. I am Rockin' Larry Lockin', your host with the most from coast to coast, usually. But here we go with the Lil Blue Guru today. We're gonna see what he has to say about some stuff. Hit him with some pretty crazy stuff. Not like the softball questions he had last week. Those were kind of crazy, huh? Why do fools fall in love? That's a good one. Yeah, I was really curious to hear what he had to tell me when I channeled it. Yeah. At least I didn't break out in a rendition of it, right? Okay, well, here we go with the Lil Blue Guru. Here he goes. Here's his theme music. You know that famous theme music, Sit with the Guru. How many tomorrows can you see? He doesn't mean how many days. He means how many parallel realities can you see. Here we go. Too motherfucking many of them, actually. But, well, obviously he can see them all. The Lil Blue Guru from Pleiades by Larry Lockin. Hello, Lil Blue Guru. Well, first question today comes from Paulette in Sedona, Arizona. Paulette wants to know what sort of effect, what is the real deal with the moon and human behavior, especially a full moon? What does it really do to the human body?
The full moon on your planet. The effects that the full moon have been overly exaggerated. There are a lot of superstitions that came in your ancient times because souls did not know what they were looking at, and they did not have the ability to reason with the science that you have nowadays on your planet, dear soul. The word lunatic, however, that you get on your planet. The word lunatic comes from the lunar cycle. We can assure you that, dear souls, and it's quite the humorous to us. The moon does not affect your body's biological tides. Some of the things that the moon does do, though your souls, is it seems to us that it cuts down on the amount of sleep that your female population is able to get during this time during the cycle. The 28th day of your illusionary time cycle, and it seems like men are your femme. Your male population is easier to get to sleep. What happens is your soul, the full moon, may be associated with what we call less deep sleep and increased rapid eye movement latency. Sleep latency is a period, dearest one, when you first fall asleep, when you enter that first stage of what you call REM sleep. So, increased latency means it takes longer for you to get to sleep. It takes a long time for you to even get into a mild sleep. As we would say, as we said before, nails seem to have an easier time going to sleep during this time period. It seems that they're a little bit more fatigued. They're a little bit more wore out, and they're able to get quite a bit of sleep. They're able to get quite a bit of rest during this period. It's kind of like a relaxation for them. You might say, dear ones. And as far as your female population goes, it seems like they have a little bit of trouble sleeping during this. During this time cycle, it is what it is, dear soul, it's over. It is over-exaggerated because the ancients did not know what they were seeing, but it does have some effect. Dear soul, we just wanted to tell you also that you do not have folks on your planet that will turn into a werewolf. Those things are some of your old wives' tales. People, it's a mental thing, dear ones on your planet. They think of the full moon, so the power precipulation is pretty heavy on a race of people that have not yet ascended past the third dimensional way of thinking. The power of persuasion and manipulation is easy. So, something gets said or something gets told, dear ones. And it tends to stick, especially if it's something that makes a person nervous or what you might call paranoid. Then they tend to run with it and listen to it because they always want to look for the bad in things. They always want to look for the evil in things. It's a very low, vibrational way of thinking, and it comes with the territory and your density. We're sorry to say. Using light the raped, ear souls can help. Those of you who are bipolar and you may have trouble during this mood. During this 28, you're thinking you're having trouble during this 28-day cycle and that it's messing with your mood. We would suggest that you try things like light therapy. To help you anyway with that. Your cardiovascular system, dear souls. And it does seem to your souls too that you tend to be. Your cardiovascular system tends to be more active during this lunar cycle. So, the moon does have some influence on you. As far as crime on your planet goes during the full moon cycle, that is purely psychological. We do believe that. That is the case, that there is more, but again, it goes back to that power of persuasion, dear ones. And your souls. We know there's always been the wives' tale on your planet about the lunar cycle having to do without a female's menstrual cycle. There is no association, your soul, between the lunar phases and the onset of a menstrual cycle. Oh, sure, of course. It happens during that time. Well, sure, it happens. It's going to happen to some during that time, and they may think that every time there's a full moon, it's their menstrual cycle, and because it just very well might be your soul, but what we can tell you is that it does not change you if you're not used to having it around the time of the full moon. You're not going to start having it around the time of the full moon. Just because there's a full moon, dear souls, that would be really silly. So, there are a lot of myths according to, when it comes to your moon, there's a lot of things you do not know about your moon yet. There's a lot of things you wonder about your moon. You tend to take old wives' tales, dear souls, and you don't believe you won't believe in you the positive things, but you want to believe every negative thing that you can. You can listen to and hear your minds are still children when it comes to that sort of a thing, and you want to be scared, and you have a habit of it seeming to us to want to be scared and paranoid about everything. This is not something to be scared or nervous about the moon cycle. It's just a natural phenomenon. Dear souls, that is, it's an elliptical force. That does its thing, of course. Everything, most every planet in the universe was terraformed at some point by a creator, god, or goddess. So natural is definitely suggestive. There are some on your planet during this time frame have a tendency, maybe to act more violent, or to do things they wouldn't normally do, but that is just because that is purely psychological for the most part of your souls. No, there's really nothing to worry about, except we do see that women tend to have a little bit trouble sleeping. More, during that time period on average than any other. And it seems like your male population has an easier time sleeping during it, so dear soul, I wouldn't worry about it too much at all, and I hope that answered your question.
Well, I hope so too, Little Blue Guru. Wow, yeah, that was kind of complex. Okay, the next one's going to be right along those same lines. Okay, this is from Pam down in Gainesville, Florida. She wants to know what the deal with the lunar eclipse is. How does that affect us? What goes on with our body? What goes on with us during a lunar eclipse?
The best of the Little Blue Guru could. Yes, the full moon. Okay, so, the lunar eclipse. What effect does that have? The lunar eclipse happens over a 28-day period of your illusionary time, dear soul, as well. This gives you a time to thank your soul. It's not a bad thing. This is a good thing for the earth. It gives you a chance to reflect and to think, and put life into perspective a little bit. That's the kind of psychological effect that we see it happen on you. If you embrace it like that, we do not advise your souls. Here's another thing we do not advise. We do not advise eating that much during the lunar eclipse. During a time leading up to it, in the time of it, we advise that you stay in a conscious state the whole time and try to do your best. Make sure your stomach is empty or near empty. Your body becomes transparent and you're able to notice what is happening with your system much better. Other than that, dear souls, it's just something like a shit passing in the night. These are just some tips we could offer you. There's really not much to it, just try to eat healthy and eat very little during the time of it, and your body should be fine, and take this time to reflect. Take the time of it, especially the night of it, to just reflect on things. That's why we asked and suggest that you do your soul. A broken heart. Dear soul, can it ever be healed?
Yes, you got hit ahead of me a little bit, Little Blue Guru. Okay, that's the next question. What is the deal with a broken heart? James in Roanoke, Virginia, wants to know. A two-part question here, Little Blue Guru. He wants to know. He would like to know, one, do you ever heal from a broken heart? And two, what is the difference psychologically and physiologically when it comes to the difference between being in love in that state of mind and being in a broken-hearted state of mind? And that's kind of what he would like to know, Little Blue Guru. So what say you?
We say in your earth terms, sometimes, but most of the time, it's just going to get patched up when you are in love with somebody and you actually have your heart broken. Like that, dear ones. Like, you say, in 3D reality, it never becomes like it was before. You can patch it up, you can learn to manage your pain. You can live with it the rest of your life. Yes, it is absolutely horrible. The torment, the agony, the pain. Of course, the yin and the yang that goes on your planet, how you feel when you're in love. But when you have your heart broken, it's a never-ending depression. We understand that your soul, despite this, love continues for love. Heartbreak is forever, only that, after a heartbreak more often than not. Mostly, in fact, the love is never the same again. That does not mean you cannot channel that love in alternative, constructive ways to be able to both enjoy it and bring joy to others with it. Being in love is a positive, hopeful state of intense affection and connection, while having a broken heart is painful, dear soul. It's often overwhelming. experience of emotional loss and distress that you have of your soul. Following in something like that, here's what we would say. There's a real yin and yang between the two. Being in love, positive emotion, it gives you joy, excitement. You feel a sense of connection, belonging. You feel a focus you're centered on the positive aspects of that relationship, your souls. In a shared future, energy together brings excitement to possibilities and the thoughts for you, dear ones. Your desire to spend time with that loved one, your acceptance, your willingness to accept the person's strengths and weaknesses. You have a desire to grow together, support each other's goals. On the other hand, dear souls, here's the yang of it, a broken heart, like we just discussed. It's marked by intense sadness, grief, anger, sense of frustration, and your loss. You feel like you're totally at a loss to your souls. Know that, like, you're in the middle of nowhere with nothing else around in. And often the reason for this is it's the loss of that companionship. It's the absence of that relationship that makes you grow cold, your souls, your energy. It can lead of this. Heartbreak can lead to a decline in your energy, your motivation, your interest in life in general. You start to feel like you're not worthy, but you are worthy of your souls. Understand that this is just a 3D game you play down here like that in the higher realms. That feeling you get when you're first in love, that's the feeling you have every time. Enjoy with life, you have that in the higher dimensions. It's just a part of it, it's this 3D illusionary yin and yang that you live in down there to your souls in. It's just how it goes. We feel for you, but we also understand and see the bigger picture if you can understand what we mean.
Yeah, Little Blue Guru.
Well, thank you, Little Blue Guru. I appreciate that. That was pretty good, I guess. I hope that answered everybody's questions. If you have any questions for the Little Blue Guru, you can email them into lockandlarry@gmail.com, or you can get me up on Facebook at Larry Locken, LARRYLCKEN, and you can privately message them to me there. And next week or in weeks to come, we'll try to get them on air. We try to only keep it to a few questions during these, make it real quick for everybody. But yeah, the Little Blue Guru, he tries his best. I've been channeling him for about a year now, and it was strange how he came into my life. But I want to wish everybody much love, and have a great weekend. Enjoy the eclipse, and be good out there. Star babies, be good. Behave yourself. Enjoy yourself, but behave yourself. And this is Rock and Lock, and we're out.